Hello again, dear honorable students. Hope you're all doing well. So this is the sixth session of DET prep class or Duolingo English test prep class. So dear honorable students, on the last session, we have just covered some extra information about the Duolingo test, and particularly we studied about two question types of the test. And before that, we have spoken about a diagram that leads you through the question types in this book. So particularly on the last session, we have spoken about read and complete. That was a kind of question that you were given a paragraph and with some words, with some blanks, with some letters which were missing, and you were supposed to write down the letters inside those blanks. And then another question type was read and select. You were supposed to select the real English words from this list. So particularly these were two kinds of questions that we have covered in the last session. And in this session, we are moving to the third question type, to another question type which you will face on the real test day, and that is listen and type. So let's learn about this question type. And as I told you before, that there are some characteristics that we are going to learn about each question type specifically. The first one, we are going to learn about directions. Then we are going to learn about the sub-score of that question type, that this question type, for example, goes to the which category or to which sub-score category. And then we will move on and learn some tips about this question type, particularly interacting with the question, how to interact with this question, and responding to the question. Means in the part by the name of responding to the question, you will learn some tips and tricks that can help you in responding that particular question type. So let's move on. Listen and type. This is another question type that you're going to face on the real test day. Directions says that listen and type asks you to type the statement that you hear. In this task, you will listen to a person speaking a statement and then transcribe what you hear. The directions for this question will appear when the timer begins. Guys, as you can see on the screen, the timer, the duration for this question type is particularly 1 minute. It means you are supposed to write what they say in just 1 minute. That's it. All the time you have, just 60 seconds. And in direction, it particularly says that this question type is quite easy. There is a microphone. It just recites a sentence. They say a sentence, and you're supposed to write that sentence here on the chart. Okay. So particularly, I want to tell you that there is in this question type which says listen and type. There is a sentence, and the microphone says or recites the sentence aloud, and then you're supposed to write that exact sentence here on this box. It means in this part, in this question type particularly, you need a good typing skill because the time is very limited. It's just 1 minute, and in 1 minute you're supposed to write that sentence correctly. So that's it. Just they tell a sentence and you're required to write that sentence inside the box. According to SAB scores, this question particularly goes to the category of comprehension and conversation. It means if you do well in this question type, your comprehension and your conversation score will increase. It means your good performance has a direct relationship with the amount of score you get, amount of sub-score you get for the comprehension and conversation section. If you perform well in this question type, your comprehension and conversation score will increase. So that's it. According to subcategory or to sub-scores, this question goes to the category of comprehension and conversation. So that's it. As you can see on the screen, on the left side you have the timer. There is the orange line which shows how much of the test you have done previously, or it means you can have a guess that's how much of your test is still left behind. So that's it. And then it says type the statement that you hear. That's it. And I want to just tell you that, guys, you can listen to the audio 3 times. Okay, just click on this microphone icon. Okay, this loudspeaker icon. Click on that. The sentence will be repeated again. So let me tell you the trick. For the first time, when they say the sentence, please write the sentence, okay, as fast as possible. Don't think about the spelling, the capitalization, the punctuation, or anything else. And then when you read the sentence for the first time, and then click on the mic on this loudspeaker again, and it will read the sentence again. And in this time, try to make corrections on the spellings, on the punctuations, and on the capitalization, on everything which is required there. And the last time, click again and make sure that everything is okay. Okay, that's it. This is the way it works, and this is really, really easy because just you have 3 attempts. You have 3 chances to play the sentence again. So that gets really easy. For the first time when they recited this sentence, so write it as fast as possible. Don't think about the punctuation, the capitalization, or anything else. Just write down the sentence and play it for the second time. And when the second time was done, so just on that time you can make corrections on the spelling, make corrections on the punctuations, on capitalizations, and anything else. And for the third time, play it again and make sure that everything is correct. Guys, in this question, even if one period is missed, you will totally lose the score of this question. This question is easy, but on the same time, it's really serious because, for example, the sentence is: there is a man going to school. There is a man going to school. You are supposed to write this sentence. There is a man going to school. So that's it. Or the man is going to school. Just write the man is going to school. If you don't capitalize the letter T of the word da, and the rest of the sentence, suppose that the rest of the sentence, or consider that the rest of the sentence are correct, but you just did not capitalize the first letter of da, so you will not get any score from this question. That's it. Or for example, you wrote that the man is going to school. You did not put any period at the end of this sentence. You will not get any score from this question, even if the rest of the sentence is correct. So that's it. It means even a very tiny problem in this question type will decrease your score. That's it. So let's come to the tips and tricks. For interacting with the question, it says you can replay the statement up to 2 times. 3 plays total by clicking on the below speaker icon. So that's it. For the first time, automatically they read the sentence. For the second time you play it, and for the third time you can play the audio. So that's it. You have it means you will hear the audio, or you will hear the sentence for 3 times. So as I told you, when they say the sentence for the first time, write as quickly as possible. Don't think about the capitalization, punctuation, or anything else. And play it for the second time, and then make corrections on the capitalizations, punctuations, or spelling, and then play it for the third time and make sure that everything is okay. So that's it. And for responding to the question, it says that type out what you hear first, then check your response by replaying the statement and comparing it to what you wrote. So that's it. As I told you, when the first time they play it, just write it down. Don't think about any problems. So when you were done with writing, so replay the audio and make corrections. So that's it. This is how this question type works particularly. That's quite simple. Just the sentences are not all the time complex. Most of the time they're simple sentences. They have just one subject and one verb with one object. They're most of the time there's simple sentences, but sometimes they're compound sentences, and maybe sometimes you will face with a complex sentence, but they're not going to be very, very long. Okay, so 3 attempts or 3 times playing the audio is it solves the problem. So that's it. This was the question type of listen and type. You are going to listen to something and then type it. That's it. So let's practice it this way. I say a sentence, okay, and you all please write it down on the chat bot. Okay, so this is the same way that we can practice this. I say this statement 3 times, and you please write it down on the chat box. This is the way we can practice this. Okay, let me start with a simple sentence. Are you ready? Okay, that's it. So, there is a laptop next to me. There is a laptop next to me. There is a laptop next to me. Nilufar, you don't have any period. Most of you are not writing any period at the end. There's a laptop next to me, yeah. And it's goal, no period at the end. Farhat, no period at the end. Hawa, no period at the end. Please don't forget periods at the end of the sentence. Because at the, when the sentence does not have any period, it's not called a sentence. There is a laptop next to me. Ehsan, no period. Yeah, looks like your problem is in period. Please don't forget the periods. Even one period will be the reason that they will not give you any score for this question. Okay, next to me. That's it. Okay, let's go for the next sentence. I tell another sentence, so please consider all the factors. Okay. I love to play soccer. I love to play soccer. I love to play soccer. Okay, most of you are correct. Okay. I love to play soccer. Ahmad Jawad, you forgot the period again. Soccer, not the score. Okay, I love to play soccer. That's it. Sahar, you forgot the period again. I love to play soccer. Yeah, looks right. Love to play soccer. To play soccer. Soccer is not SOCCAR. Okay, so most of you are doing it correctly. So that's it. Let's go to a compound sentence. So these two sentences were simple sentences. So now I say a compound sentence, and you please write it down. Okay. I love to play soccer and hang out with my friends. I love to play soccer and hang out with my friends. I love to play soccer and hang out with my friends. Okay, most of you are doing it correctly. Okay, I love to play soccer and hang out with my friends. That's it. Yeah, guys, please don't forget the comma before and. But that's not a very big deal. If you don't write a comma even, it will not make a problem. Because and has this ability. Okay, I love to play soccer and hang out with my friends. Friends. When I say friends, so please add S. Okay. Okay, that was nice. So let's go one more compound sentence. He is an intelligent student, but he does not participate in the classes most of the time. He is an intelligent student, but he does not attend the classes most of the time. He is an intelligent student, but he does not attend the classes most of the time. He is an intelligent student, but he does not attend the classes most of the time. So please add ES to the classes. He's an intelligent student, but he's an intelligent student, but he does not attend. Yeah, most of you are doing correctly. Okay, that's really nice. Student, but he does not attend the class most of the times. That's it. Yeah, really nice. Looks like you're really good at this question. So that does not need anything else. So particularly, you're really good at it. This is the way the question works. You have 3 chances to play the audio and then write it down. He is intelligent. Okay, Mr. Ismatyar, look at the spelling of a student. Classes. Okay. Okay. So that was nice. Okay. So guys, adding a comma before but or before and, it is something that you should put because it's good to put a comma and before the word bad and before the word and, but they say that if you don't put it in a compound sentence, it does not make a big problem. But if you put it, it sounds more academic. Okay, for example, I go to school or I love to play soccer, comma, and for example, hang out with my friends. So that sounds better to put a comma to separate these statements. So putting a comma is more academic. So guys, that was nice. That was nice practicing with you this question type. That was really good. So let's go to the next question. So we are done with this question type, which says listen and type. Let's go to the next question. It says read aloud. So particularly before going to the next question type, which says read aloud. So we have read aloud here and write about the photo. So before talking about read aloud, so let's come to your questions. So particularly if you have any question about this question type, which says type the statement that you hear, so please ask me your questions. Sajia Begum Hosseini. Bono Hosseini, you can ask your question. Bono Hosseini, please ask your question.
If we play this other 3 times, can it decrease our number?
No. You're allowed to play that. Okay, you are allowed to play that 3 times. The first time will be automatically played for you by the system. The second time you should click on the loudspeaker or that microphone below microphone audio. You should click on that, it will be played. And the third time also. And playing these 3 times will not affect on your score. It does not it does not connect with your score. You are allowed. It's your right to play it 3 times. So please use from your rights. So please use it and write the sentence as correct as possible. So they give you 3 chances for playing. That's why they take it so serious. Even if one period is missing, so they will not give you any score. Because they say that, oh, you had chances to play 3 times, but still you missed the period. So that's why they will decrease your score.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So another person, Mr. Azizi, please ask your question.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. My
You're
question
welcome.
is about the spelling. I think spelling is super important for this question.
Exactly.
So can you give us some tips?
Tips for improving your spelling?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the tip that we have for improving his spelling, it just goes back to the days when you were starting or you were studying English for the first time as a child. Remember those days that you were, for example, for the first, it was your first days you were learning English. How were you learning the spellings? You were just, you had a paper, there were some words, and you were writing down that words. Okay? For example, book, B-O-O-K, pen, P-E-N. Just making this way, okay? You were learning the spelling of the words on those days just this way. This is the best possible way of memorizing the spelling of a word. Okay, just take a book, okay, or an English article and just write it down. Okay, just look at the article and then write it down and pay attention to the every spelling, okay, to a spelling of every single word. This is the best way that can help you with practicing the spelling. That's it. And all the time when you memorize a new word, when you just want to add a new word to your vocabulary, so please consider the spelling also. Beside the meaning, beside the pronunciation, spelling also. So this is the way that you can practice a spelling skill. And it's really crucial for this question type because even, for example, a student, S-T-U-D-E-N-T. So if you write S-T-U-D-N-E-T, that will just destroy all the question. You will not get any score from the question. Even one tiny spelling problem or punctuation problem or capitalization problem will lead to having no score from this question. Okay, Banu Danishar, you can ask your question.
Hello, everyone.
everyone. Hope all of you doing well.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a question. I don't know if it's correct or no, but some students, I noticed that some students have written when they write their own sentence. I mean, when they write but they put a space and after a space they put a comma, and also after putting a comma again they have a space and write another sentence. So before writing a sentence and after writing a sentence, is it correct to put a space before and after a comma or no?
Before a comma, it's not correct. For example, you write, I love playing soccer. Right after R, you should put the comma if you want to put a comma. Okay, right after R. Don't make any space. Don't put any space there. Comma should be stick to the letter. Okay, and then after the comma, you are supposed to put a space. Because if you don't put a space, even if you do this in a Word document, please just do this experience on a Word document. If you don't put a space after the comma and write, for example, and or bad, they will just make a red line under your word and they will say that it's incorrect. Why? Because the word and will stick to the previous letter. So before the comma, a space is not needed, but after the comma, it is needed. Just one space.
But most of the students did it like this. They write their own sentence, but they put a space, and they after putting a space, they add a comma. So
No. A comma should stick to the first sentence.
Yes, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And the last person, Mr. Tawhidi. Mr. Abdul Khaliq Tawhidi, if you have any questions, so please tell me.
Okay, thank you, teacher. First of all, hello, sir.
Hello, hope you're doing well.
Yeah. I hope that you're all doing well and you're in good health and high spirits. So my question is this, that in actual DET test, so how many times do you will have this question type? I mean the lesson and type question.
The number of questions or how many times you are going to have it, it's not clear in the test. Let me tell you, some of the things, some of the factors are not clear in Duolingo. The first one, how many questions are there? It's not clear. The second one, which question type will come at the first? It's not clear. The third one, a specific question type. How many times a specific question type will be repeated? It's still not clear. For example, this is a question type which says listen and type, okay? Then listen and type question, it's not clear that how many times you will receive this question specifically. It's not clear. All of these factors are chosen by the machine, by artificial intelligence. And based on your performance, they choose these questions. So the number of total questions in the Duolingo test, which question type comes first, and how many times or can we have a specific question type in the test? It's not clear. These three factors are not clear about the test. They differ based on your performance. Okay, so
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if there is no more question, let's move on to another question type. Okay, looks like there is no more question. Let's move on. Okay, guys, so the question type which says listen and type, so this is done. Let's move on to the next one which says read aloud. So read aloud is another kind of question type. This is somehow easy. In this question type, they're searching for your pronunciation. Most of you were asking that what if we have an American pronunciation? What if we have a British pronunciation? So please, any kind of pronunciation you have, stick to that pronunciation. Don't pronounce a word American, another word British, another word American, another word British. This will make it very difficult for a machine to learn, to know what are you doing, okay? So if you are British, so please be British in all the tests. If you are American, so please be American. Okay, direction says that read aloud asks you to record yourself saying the statement below. In this question type, you will read a written statement and then speak it out loud into the microphone. The directions for this question will appear when the timer begins. So that's it. Very simple. Just there is a statement and they tell you that record yourself saying the statement below. For example, what does he look like? So that's it. Just it means pronounce this. Okay, you can click on record now, as you can see on my screen. Click on record now, and then you can start recording yourself saying the statement. And as you know, you have just 20 seconds for this question type. For this particular question, you have just 20 seconds to record yourself saying that statement. And also, according to Sabbath scores, this goes to the comprehension and conversation category. It means if you perform well in this question type, on that time you will. It means your score, your Sabbath score on comprehension and conversation will increase. So it means this question type particularly goes to the category, to the Sabbath score category of comprehension and conversation. So that's it. As simple as the previous question type. Just there is a statement and you're supposed to read that statement aloud. That's it. So let's go for tips. For interacting with the question, it says you only have 20 seconds and you only have one chance to record this statement. So use your time wisely. That's it. 20 seconds and one chance to record. You don't have 2 or 3 chances, just one chance to record it. So please record it correctly. Guys, most of the time it happens that you just, when you read the statement, you say, what does he look like? It means this maxes it means among or between your sentence that makes a lot of problem. It will even lead to a 0 score. It will even lead to a very, very low score. Just try to be very, very fluent. Okay, what does he look like? In this question type particularly, your intonation, falling and raising, and the accent, the pronunciation, and also the stress. These factors of pronunciation are really important for these statements, okay? So, what does he look like? So that's it. What does he look like? If you say, what does he look like? So in this type of reading the statement, that most of the time students, unfortunately, students read the books, read the statements this way. They just have maxes between the words, and these maxes will make a lot of problem on the real test day. So just keep in mind that you should read this sentence as fluent as possible. One factor. Another, guys, again, I'm repeating that reading fast does not mean that you're fluent. If you say, what does he look like? This is not fluency in English, okay? Or what does he look like? What does he look like? So if you think that if you read it as fast as possible, it means that you are your fluency is really excellent. No, it's not that factor. Or if you read it slowly, what does he look like? So this is also a big problem. That's just be normal. When you normally speak to someone, what does he look like? So that's it. With a normal pace, not very fast, not very slow. It means, yeah, I'm sure you understand. You know that reading slowly will affect your score, okay? But most of you, unfortunately, think that reading fast will increase your score because maybe they think that your fluency is good. But please just throw away this opinion from your mind that it's not that way. Reading fast does not guarantee that your speaking fluency is really excellent. Just be normal. What does he look like? That's it. Okay, when you are ready to record, click record now and start speaking. When you are finished recording, click next. If you do not click next, the test will advance automatically when the timer runs out. So that's it. Like other question types, if you click on next, so that will go to the next question. If you don't click on next, so the test automatically moves on to the next question when the time was up. So that's it. So I think if you read the sentence, if you yourself click on next, that will be better because it will not make any, for example, problem. Because the sentence is very short. For example, this sentence needs just 3 or 4 seconds. What does he look like? So that was just 3 seconds. So, but you have 20 seconds. So you can use at least 10 seconds, 15 seconds for looking at the sentence. So guys, let me just give you one suggestion. When this question appeared on the screen of your computer, don't start automatically reading the sentence, okay? And don't start, for example, automatically clicking on the word record now and start reading it. No, please, before recording, read it once with yourself. Don't read it aloud, just in your mind. Just read it once with yourself. Just read it once with yourself, then click on record now and read it aloud, okay? It means before reading it to the machine or before recording it, just have a read about it, okay? Just read it with yourself. Because you have a lot of time. 20 seconds is so much. Even if they give you a very long sentence, it will not take 10 seconds to read that sentence. So still you have 10 seconds to prepare for that, okay? So use at least 10 seconds to prepare that sentence, to read that sentence before reading aloud, and then start recording and read it aloud. That's it. So particularly for this question, what does he look like, does not take takes even more than it does not take even more than 3 seconds. So just a minute, guys. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. It says, make sure you capture full response in the recording. So it's really better to have the full response. Don't just leave any word. And for responding to the question particularly, there are 3 tips. The first one, if you have time, practice speaking the statement once out loud before recording if you have time. So that's it. And look at the punctuation in the statement to help you pace yourself. Briefly pausing at each comma, for instance. That's it, guys. If the statement that they give you, if the statement has any comma, so it means that in the comma, you should have a very short max. Okay? So if they say, for example, they say a long statement, for example, which there are some commas inside the statement. So on the comma, when you arrive to the comma, so please just have a very short break there. And then speak loudly at a natural pace and make sure to enunciate clearly. So that's it, guys. As I told you, don't speak faster, don't speak for example, slower. It does not mean that if you speak faster, your fluency is really excellent in English. So just throw away those kind of thoughts with yourself. Just there's a simple statement. What does he look like? Just be normal. What does he look like? Don't say what does he look like or what does he look like. That's not, don't be very fast and don't be very slow. Just be normal. So that's it. The question type of read aloud. So that's it, guys. Still, we have covered 4 question types. Let me recap all of them. Then we will practice about this, the last one that we learned. Okay, the first question type we learned, that was read and complete. You had a paragraph. There were some missing letters. You were supposed to complete those missing letters. That's it. Another one was read and select. There were a couple of words in English, and you were supposed to select just real English words from the list. That's it, the second question type. The next one, listen and type. There was just a sentence. They were reciting or telling a statement, and you were supposed to write that statement on the box. And you had 3 chances to play that statement. That's it. And the next question type that we covered, that was read aloud. There was a sentence, and you had just 20 seconds. You could click on record now, and just you were supposed to read that statement. That's it. So these were all 4 question types that we have covered up to now. So for practicing this part, record yourself saying this statement. Let me just think how can we do it? Okay, let's leave the practice of this question to the group, okay? Because right now here, because it's around 60 students here, so it's difficult to practice it one by one. So let's leave practicing this question type particularly on the group. On the WhatsApp group, we are going to do the exercise of this question type particularly. So guys, I think that's the end of this session, so that's enough, I think. So particularly I give time for you to ask your questions, and that's it. For the entire next week, we are going to practice on these specific 4 question types. That's it. So I think we have just around 10 minutes more. So in this 10 minutes, you can ask your questions. So if you have any question particular about these 4 question types that we have covered, so you can raise your hand and tell me your questions. So Mr. Hosseini, You can ask your question. Mr. Husseini? Okay, looks like you have some problems. So, Javad Hakami. Mr. Hakami, you can ask your question. Okay, looks like you're having some problems. So, leave it. Khadija Fawad. Banu Fawad, you can ask your question.
Sir, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
You have it?
Yeah, I have it. Okay, please tell me your question.
So, are these four question type and which categories?
Okay, your voice was breaking so much, but I think I got the question. You were asking about the categories.
I want to say that these four question type and which category?
Yeah, each one of them are on different categories.
Literacy or
In the subscores, you can see they are in different categories. Read aloud is in the category of comprehension and conversation. Listen and type is also in the category of comprehension and conversation. Read and select is in the category of literacy and comprehension, and read and complete is also in the category of literacy and comprehension. These subscores are in fact determining the categories which these questions are. Okay, so another person, Abdullah Azizi. Mr. Azizi, you can ask your question.
Yes, the question that I have that is about the intonation and the stress. Does it affect our mark or not?
Exactly. If you just do the intonations correctly, okay, the stress correctly, pronounce them correctly, it will increase your score. In fact, the philosophy of this question is checking out your pronunciation, your intonation, your stress, and things like that. All the things regarding the pronunciation. That's why they have even made this kind of question. Okay, and Mr. Hassani, still your hand is raised, so please tell me your question. Okay, looks like Mr. Hassani does not have any question. So any other of you, if there is any questions, so please tell me your questions about particularly these four question types. So the entire of next week we are going to cover, or we are going to, for example, practice all these question types. So Mr. Hassani, still, if you have any questions, so please tell me.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, I'm sorry, you are Miss Hassani. I'm so sorry for that, but your name was not completely there in here. So could you please tell me what's your name?
My name is Mahdia Husseini, sir.
Okay, Mahdia Husseini. That's it. Okay,
Yes.
ask your question, please.
Sir, about the speaking section, if we use abbreviation in the while speaking, is it okay or not?
A revision of what, for example?
No, I mean not abbreviations. It means if we shorten the question, for example, how is he doing? For example, if we say how's he doing, or we just shorten the.
Okay,
sentence.
don't
Is it okay?
do it. Don't do it if the statement itself does not have anything. For example, here it says, "What does he look like?" So pronounce it this way. For example, the sentence is written, "He is a good boy." You should pronounce it, "He is a good boy." You should not just put apostrophe ace with he and he's a good boy. Don't do that. Just read exactly the thing which is written on the screen. That's it. Which is written on the screen.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Banu Shakila Ahmadi, you can ask your question. Nargis Farahi.
Sir, if in that part we are given a sentence that includes a multiple
a multiple word, and we stress the wrong syllable in that multi-syllable word. For example, the word important, the first syllable should be stressed, but for example, if I stress the second one wrongly, so do they take it as a mistake, or does it affect our score?
Yeah, it affects. Intonation is important, okay? If you don't consider intonation and stress in the statements, so it affects your score. Even if it does not affect so much, at least it will affect a little bit, okay? So it will affect. Somehow it will affect.
Okay.
You're welcome. So that's it. وجهها. بانو وجهها بگذار. You can ask your question. نیلوفر دانشیار. Okay, وجهها. Ask me.
If we have got a question, and I mean, if the sentence became a question, should we put a question mark at the end of the sentence?
Exactly. In the question type of listen and type, if you say, yeah, exactly. If it is a question, you have to put a question mark. Question mark is a punctuation, so you should put it. For example, it says, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? So this is a question, so you should put a question mark at the end. Exactly. If you don't put it, the sentence will be long.
And also, for example, if the sentence is more than one sentence, as you say, the complex sentence, we have to punctuate that, yeah?
Exactly. With the commas, you should punctuate it.
Okay, so thanks.
You're welcome. And Bono Nilufar?
Sorry, sir, for making you disturb, but I don't have any question, but I have a suggestion for those people that they are going to send.
We don't have your voice. Unfortunately, we didn't have your voice.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, right now it's okay.
Sir, I don't have any question, but I have a suggestion for those people that they're going to disturb us. I mean, they're sending some messages on our private account. So I kindly...
Okay, guys, so this was the 6th session of DET Prep or Duolingo English Test Preparation. So for all those honorable students who are watching us through YouTube, you can comment down on the video if you have any particular question. So I just thank you all for tuning into the class. Have a good day.